What's up, guys? I'm SaltEMike, and this is your Star Citizen Weekend Review for November 11th, 2019. And I'm actually recording this on the 10th because I have a family obligation pretty much all day on the 11th. So if I miss anything that happened on kind of early Monday, I apologize, but we'll get to that next week if it's still viable. But jumping right into things, we do not have any patch notes this week, but we did get a monthly report, so we're going to just jump right into that. And obviously we're not going to just like read the report to you. I pick and choose what I find interesting to discuss with you in the comments. So the link for the entire post will be in the description, as always, below. And they kind of start out with telling us it's gonna be a little bit vague or kind of light this month because of CitizenCon spoilers. So they kind of start out with that caveat right there. But to be honest, after reading through it, there is still quite a bit of interesting information there. So starting out with AI stuff, there was a lot of mentions about like combat and for both like ship and FPS AI improvements, but we've seen these discussed a lot. And when it comes to the actual Star Citizen PU, a lot of times that work is sort of difficult to realize. I think in 3.7 we've seen kind of a massive jump in improvements for the AI. They're basically not sitting still and doing nothing for the most part, so that's pretty good. But the thing that I want to point out here is that soon, like, vendor AI will not just provide or sell us something, but they are also going to gain the ability to accept objects from us. So it opens up a world of possibilities where any object in the game will now have some form of value, which is pretty exciting. Under core services, the team is working on nav mesh support, which seems to be leading to like better navigation data on planet surfaces, which could be a step towards like two key things: the ability to mark a place that you've been and be able to go back to it, or that much needed like compass that a lot of the FPS players have been asking for. Environment art, there's a lot of work that seems complete with our next planet Microtech's surface, and obviously there's more to come at CitizenCon. Ship art, the team is working on 3.8 ships, but there was sort of a call to action to tune into CitizenCon to look into what the ship team is doing, and I assume we'll see at least one new ship for sale at the event, at least one, probably multiple. As far as audio goes, we almost never talk about audio for any segment in anything, and we're actually going to talk about it twice today. But in this situation, they talked about temperature and how your sounds related to your body reacting to certain temperatures. And I think this sort of hints maybe towards some stuff with Microtech, but it's not due until 3.9. So for me, this is kind of helps communicate maybe what we're going to be seeing at CitizenCon. So work being done on temperature status sounds are likely going to be related to the CitizenCon like keynote or something like that. And then design. This disappointingly is usually the situation where we would have the most information, but this time around, because most of that information is probably related to the CitizenCon content, they didn't share much other than that the teams started prototyping next year's features. So I went down the roadmap and kind of listed off a few things that they might have been prototyping. Prison gameplay is the top of that list, since we know that they're going to be doing some discussions of that at CitizenCon. PvP bounties, cargo timers, NPC healing, player status, which I just discussed earlier, and security systems are some of the things that came to mind for me. Gameplay features, for some reason, server-side OCS was mentioned here, but the main thing to mention is that feature items are not listed as working on added features. Like, they're not saying it, that like basically they're not working on any features adding to the game in this section of the monthly report, but the majority of the work is being done on fixing many of the issues that plagued us for a while now. So lots of bug fixing going on. Vehicle features. 2 takeaways from this. New restricted area changes, which would be UI messages and guide tunnels that will guide us into the starports that we're going to. That's pretty cool. And improvements to atmospheric flight, which is likely that second step to proximity assist that we heard about a few months back. Lighting is another thing we usually wouldn't discuss, but I think that this was pretty cool. They're working on various, areas and things, but it just kind of gave us a picture that I wanted to share with you guys, which is a really nice look at the exterior of what appears to be New Babbage. Then under system design, there is major stuff here, such as the introduction of new mining lasers, which Dan Truffin teased a few weeks back on SCL. I didn't think that this was something that we were going to be seeing soon. And they will have different properties and those consumables that he discussed. So I'm not sure what episode of Week in Review it was, but I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So yeah, it was pretty interesting stuff he discussed there. A management interface for cargo is also being worked on. So the first step to adding more depth to cargo, like hauling dangerous or volatile cargo. And then refining station UI. A major part of a miner's gameplay loop, it seems, is that you take your minerals that you mine and then you refine them to get a purer version of it and to be able to sell it for more money. And then they also said that they would allow us to choose what we want to refine. So if you have multiple minerals inside your hull, you can kind of split them out and refine certain ones. But then they also said, gave us an option of how we would like to refine it, and that kind of opens some questions. I'm not really sure what that means. Moving on to roadmap updates, as that completes the monthly report for this month, is pretty empty. So roadmap roundup basically said nothing happened, but if you look at the actual roadmap, a lot of progress actually was done. Basically, all of Microtech related features are above 50% complete, most being above 75%. FPS close combat is nearing the polishing phase, and the Anvil Carrack is approaching its halfway mark. So there's quite a few things that jumped like 15, 25% completion rate in the last week. So that's pretty exciting. Moving on to video updates, there is an update for both Inside Star Citizen and Star Citizen Live. Inside Star Citizen focused on the new mission that they're adding in 3.8, which is kind of a rescue the 890 jump from being hacked. And I want to pause on the image of the actual mission here, because there's a few things that people wanted to point out. That there's this little Idris fight mission that is available as well. I think they're just kind of memeing here. Maybe it's something related to CitizenCon. And the other thing that people discussed is the actual reward. And this was basically debunked, that the designer was on Reddit and explained that this was just a placeholder reward. And we'll see the actual reward when the mission is completed and we have it in our hands. So moving on from that, the team goes ahead and kind of explains a bit of what the mission entails.
We've always wanted to do a mission inside of ships. Obviously, we've always wanted AI running around inside ships. So always been a plan. But it wasn't until the 890 jump came along that we saw how viable that was and how big of an opportunity it would be to miss, really.
So this mission is an 890 jump that's been hijacked out in space, and the player's been tasked with going, clearing out the hijacking pirates, and cancelling the hacks that are currently ongoing inside the ship. So you'd receive this mission via the Mobiglass, and you'll receive a waypoint to direct you to the 890 jump. When you get there, you're going to see ships that have dropped off the pirates into the 890. They're going to be trying to eliminate you and stop you from EVAing your way inside. Once you take those ships out, you'll be able to get out of your ship, EVA down inside the 890 jump, eliminate the pirates that are inside the hangar. From there, there's going to be security inside the ship that you can try and save as much as possible. Make your way down to the back of the hangar and try and cancel the hack that's ongoing within the 890.
The mission ends successfully when all of the hijackers are cleared out, when all of the hacks are prevented, it's failed if you fail to prevent the hack in time.
There are a lot of moving parts in that mission, and I'm really excited to see how it gets implemented and how well it works on the release of 3.8, and I'm excited to give it a try with some of my friends. And speaking of that, I think the intention of this mission is to be shared, and I think that's why a lot of people had an issue with the cost or the reward for the mission, because 10,000 credits and being shared with multiple people isn't that rewarding. And if you go ahead and watch the actual video, which I highly suggest you do, you see that there's quite a bit of AI on this ship, and it should be quite challenging to complete. As far as mission sharing goes, we'll let Luke kind of go ahead and share a little bit more on that.
This mission is totally shareable. It's intended to be played in a 4 or 5 man team. You will really struggle to do it on your own. I'm sure plenty of people will succeed. They'll take the reward, undivided. But yeah, I think we're aiming to make it about, a 4-player mission.
So the aim's to be about a 4-player mission, and I think this is a really nice step in the right direction for the mission team. It seems very complex and different than a lot of things that we've experienced before, but at the same time familiar, right? It's go here, kill these things, and do this. It's not wildly different, and it's something that this team, with the tech that they have online now and the feature set that they have, are capable of doing. So I'm really excited to see how it goes, and yeah. So that's really kind of it for this week's Inside Star Citizen update, as the rest of the video was basically on kind of the sound team, and it just didn't provide any exciting sort of topics to discuss today. But we did have an Inside Star Citizen with the sound team, and there was one little snippet that was worth just kind of sharing with you today.
What's up with the garbled intercom public announcement messages in OSR?
Who wants to take that one?
I don't know if we can confirm or deny that or talk about it.
Something mysterious seems to be happening. That's all we know.
Definitely seems like it's related to something, though.
Yeah.
Nobody willing to put their job on the line to say it is.
Nope. Don't put me in that situation, Jared.
Tried.
But something cool.
So it basically confirms the obvious, that the sounds that we're hearing at Port Olisar and the other space stations are kind of definitely something related to CitizenCon that the guys don't want to share. So just very excited to hear what kind of goes on with that. Super excited for CitizenCon. And yeah, once again, I am still in the works trying to plan and answer the call for CitizenCon, and reaching out to some people and having them come on the show, as well as we have a few content creators that are going to be at the event that are confirmed that they want to call in and kind of let us know what their experience at the event is like. So really excited for that. As far as that goes, I think that's it for this week's show. We did do an Answer the Call yesterday about kind of where the priorities with Star Citizen are. Xylo was in the chat, as well as a number of other developers, and Xylo kind of gave some interesting information in terms of the direction that CIG is going in with like the quality of life initiative. And basically said, for example, over the next couple of quarterly patches, there's just some focus allotted to quality of life, and it's not like it's choosing one or the other. It's just taking some time out and making sure that we nail down some of those major issues that we've been dealing with for really, honestly, far too long. And it kind of put me a little bit more at ease as to the future of Star Citizen, and in the short term and the long term. So yeah, just really excited for CitizenCon, really excited for 3.8, and that's going to do it for this week. So hit that like button, subscribe, and leave some comments below and let me know what you thought about this week's update, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.